In 2026, the world will be louder than ever. Everyone will speak. Everyone will post. Everyone will rush to prove something to the world. But the ones who will rise, the ones who will quietly reshape their lives, are the ones who choose stillness. Silence is not the absence of noise. Silence is focus. Silence is power. Silence is choosing yourself before the world chooses for you. This year is not about impressing others. It is not about sharing every step of your journey or announcing every move you make. This year is about becoming so focused on your own growth that people begin to wonder how you did it. Most people will waste 2026 watching others win, scrolling, comparing, talking about goals they will never start. But you will spend it creating, building, sharpening your mind, and silently rising from the inside out. As you lie down and listen, allow your breath to soften and let the world outside fade away. These words are not here to motivate you temporarily. They are here to rewire how you move, how you think, and who you become. This is not just the beginning of a new year. This is the beginning of a new identity. Welcome to the year you become untouchable. Every day, your mind is flooded with noise, notifications, opinions, expectations, comparisons, the voices of others telling you who to be, what to do, what to chase, what to fear. The world has mastered one skill, keeping you distracted from yourself. And because of that, most people live their entire lives never meeting the person they were meant to become. Noise is not just sound. Noise is mental tension. Noise is the pressure to keep up. Noise is the endless scrolling, the invisible competition, the dopamine cravings, the need to be seen, validated, approved. Noise is everything that pulls you away from your own voice. In silence, you rediscover it. Imagine your mind as a lake. When the waters are disturbed, when emotions are agitated, when thoughts are scattered, the reflection is distorted. You cannot see the truth beneath the surface. But when the lake becomes still, the reflection becomes clear. Silence is that stillness. Silence is what allows you to see yourself. There is a version of you beneath the noise, beneath the rushing, beneath the pretending, beneath the mask you learned to wear. A version of you that knows exactly what it wants. A version of you that remembers who you are. But you cannot hear it while you are running. Silence is uncomfortable at first, because when the noise stops, you finally face the feelings you've been outrunning: boredom, fear, regret, insecurity, dreams you abandoned. Silence is a mirror, and many people avoid it because they are not ready to see what it reflects. But only those who are willing to face themselves are capable of transforming. Close your eyes. Imagine a world where social pressure does not exist, where judgment does not exist, where your past does not define you, and your future is a blank page waiting for your decision. In that world, who would you be? What would you create? What would you choose? The answers to those questions live inside you. But they only reveal themselves in silence. The fastest way to lose yourself is to constantly watch others. The fastest way to remember yourself is to stop and listen. When the noise pauses, you begin to hear thoughts that were always there, quiet truths, whispers, intuition, inner wisdom. Your life begins when you learn to notice them. Silence is not empty, it is full of answers. When you allow silence to exist, even for a few minutes, something subtle begins to happen. Your nervous system lowers, your breath slows, thoughts stop fighting each other. A gap forms between emotions and reactions. In that gap, clarity is born. The mind, once chaotic, begins to feel like soft soil, where new decisions can grow. Reprise and well 5. The world is designed to keep you reactive. Silence is what makes you intentional. In silence, you begin to separate what belongs to you from what was forced onto you. Some beliefs you carry are not yours. Some dreams you chase are not yours. Some fears you feel are borrowed. When you sit with yourself, you can finally ask, is this even mine? And that question alone can save years of your life. There is a sacred power in being still. Great ideas come from silence. Self-respect is built in silence. Vision is crafted in silence. People who change their lives do not start by acting louder. They start by going quiet. They pause. They think. They observe. They choose. Silence is not passive. Silence is preparation. Think of an archer. Before the arrow flies, everything goes still. The body freezes. The breath slows. The mind sharpens. In that suspended second, silence becomes power, and then release. Silence prepares you to aim your life. Instead of shooting arrows blind in every direction and hoping one hits meaning, when the noise stops, you finally recognize the difference between movement and progress, between being busy and becoming better, between what the world applauds and what your soul actually desires. Maybe you've been running for a long time, running to avoid disappointment, running to outrun the version of you you never wanted to be, running from the memories you didn't want to feel. But silence catches you, so you can finally ask, what am I truly running from? What am I running toward? And who am I becoming in the process? Transformation is not loud. It does not happen in front of an audience. It happens in the quiet moments when you're honest with yourself. When you admit what hurts, when you admit what you want, when you allow yourself to dream again. Silence is also where your identity begins to shift. Because identity is not changed through force, it is rewritten through awareness. You cannot change what you cannot see, and you cannot see anything in a storm. So tonight, let silence be your shelter. Let the world stay outside for a moment. Let the expectations dissolve. Let the comparisons fade. Let the voices disappear until the only one left is yours. Because the moment you hear yourself, truly hear yourself, is the moment you begin to live. Power is rarely loud. True power is quiet. It whispers. It does not need to explain itself. It simply is. Most people misunderstand strength. They think it is volume, presence, dominance. They think power is about controlling others, proving something, or being the center of attention. But the strongest forces in life are silent. Gravity does not shout, yet it holds planets in place. Time does not speak, yet it changes everything. The wind does not announce itself, yet mountains bow to its patience. Power is not noise, power is impact. Silence is your weapon, because silence is control. Control of energy, control of reaction, control of attention. When you stay silent, you reclaim your power from the world. You stop letting external noise shape who you are. You stop fighting battles that do not belong to you. Silence becomes a shield, a barrier between your energy and the chaos around you. Think about a sword. It is sharp because it is narrow, refined, precise. Your focus becomes the same when you choose silence. Too many thoughts, too many opinions, too many voices, they dull your edge. Silence sharpens it. Inside silence, your energy returns home. Noise is scattering. It disperses you, your thoughts, your feelings, your power. Every argument you enter, every person you try to impress, every unwanted opinion, you absorb pieces of yourself, leave with them. Silence is the act of calling those pieces back. It is the gathering of yourself. People often talk because they fear silence. They fill space because they fear their own mind. They speak to prove they belong, to avoid being misunderstood, to hide uncertainty. But silence does something revolutionary. It forces others to reveal who they are. When you speak, people hear your voice. When you are silent, you hear theirs. Silence gives you information, information that others give away for free. In silence, you watch how people treat you when you are not performing. You observe who respects your boundaries, who only approaches you when you are useful, who stays when you have nothing to offer. Silence is how truth enters. That is why the most intelligent minds in history guarded silence like a temple. They understood that words are energy, and energy is limited. Every sentence you speak costs something. Energy, time, focus, attention. And if what you say does not serve your direction, it is wasted. When you master silence, you master direction. Silence is also a mirror of emotional strength. Anyone can react. Anyone can explode. Anyone can speak impulsively. That is easy. What is rare is the ability to pause, to sit with the discomfort, to let thoughts settle before responding. Silence is emotional discipline. Silence is maturity. Think of the strongest moments in your life, not the loud ones. The moment you walked away instead of arguing. The moment you cried alone, deciding something had to change. The moment you told no one about your plan and built quietly. Growth is not loud. It happens in secret. Silence changes your identity. Because silence creates space, and in that space, you choose. You choose who you are becoming. You choose what matters. You choose what stays, what leaves, what grows, what dies. Most people are loud because they need the world to confirm their existence. People who are becoming someone do not need that. Their validation comes from within. They are walking toward a version of themselves that the world has not met yet. Silence is not weakness. Silence is intentional. It is the refusal to waste words on people who do not listen. It is the discipline to control your story instead of explaining it. It is the commitment to build something worth speaking about later, instead of speaking now with nothing to show. Silence is the bridge between who you are and who you are becoming. You learn that not everyone deserves access to your thoughts, that not every reaction deserves your voice, that you do not owe the world your explanation. your process, your plan. There is power in the mystery of silence. A life with momentum becomes obvious without being announced. Silence also protects something sacred, your energy. Energy is the currency of creation. What you build, who you love, what you become, all of it requires energy. The world steals energy in subtle ways: gossip, confusion, overthinking, explaining, defending. Silence is the gatekeeper. When you choose silence, you choose energy conservation. You choose strategy. You choose long-term transformation over short-term validation. And there comes a moment, if you stay silent long enough, when something shifts. Your silence stops being a reaction and starts being a home, a fortress, a baseline where you feel safe enough to think, to feel, to dream, where you no longer need the world's permission. Because that is what silence ultimately gives you: ownership. Ownership of your mind, ownership of your emotions, ownership of your path. When you understand silence, you no longer chase power. You realize you are power. One day you will speak, and when you do, your words will not be small. They will carry the weight of all the days you spent silent, sharpening, growing, becoming. People will listen not because you demand attention, but because silence rebuilt you into someone who no longer needs noise. Power is not loud. Power is felt. And silence is where power begins. Your life becomes whatever you repeatedly give your attention to. Not what you dream about. Not what you talk about. Not what you plan or hope will happen someday. Your life becomes the direction of your focus. Focus is not a skill, it is a resource. It is the most valuable asset you will ever own. And most people give it away cheaply, unconsciously, and daily. Attention is a currency. Every time you scroll, you pay. Every time you argue, you pay. Every time you react instead of choosing, you pay. The problem is not that people lack potential, it is that they are bankrupt in attention. They are drained before they ever begin. You must reclaim your focus, because without it, you have nothing. The world today is engineered to steal your attention. Platforms, apps, people, even your own thoughts, pulling, distracting, fragmenting your mind into 1,000 pieces. You cannot build anything meaningful if your mind is scattered. Anything powerful that has ever been created: a business, a book, a legacy, a life was built by someone who mastered attention. Reclaiming your focus begins with a simple, radical realization: not everything deserves your attention. Your life becomes lighter and more powerful the moment you start subtracting. Focus is not about doing more. Focus is about doing less with intensity. Sit with that for a moment. Most people fail not because they don't try, but because they try too many things. Too many priorities. Too many open tabs. Too many emotional commitments. 1,000 small leaks and no energy left for the one thing that actually matters. You reclaim your focus by choosing what matters and letting everything else fall away. Ask yourself quietly, what is stealing my attention? What drains me without giving anything back? What do I still carry that is not mine to hold? Awareness is the first cut and the first liberation. Because when you start seeing where your attention goes, you also see who controls your life. If someone can trigger you, they own a piece of your mind. If a notification can pull you away from your purpose, it owns a piece of your future. If a voice from your past can still stop you, it owns a piece of your identity. Reclaiming your focus means returning ownership. And ownership begins with boundaries. Boundaries with people, boundaries with noise, and boundaries with yourself. Focus is a discipline. It is a quiet, daily, repeated choice. It is choosing to begin instead of waiting. It is choosing to continue when your motivation dies. It is choosing to finish when no one else is watching. Focus feels like friction at first. Your mind resists. Your emotions resist. Your habits pull you back to old patterns because distraction is familiar. Distraction is easy. Distraction is comforting. Focus requires effort, and effort reveals who you are becoming. Inside, silence. Your mind becomes a mirror. You will see how often your attention runs away. You will notice how your thoughts jump, how impulses try to pull you somewhere else. Most people never notice because they never stop long enough to watch their mind. To reclaim your focus, you must slow down enough to see where you leak energy. See where you distract yourself. See where you abandon your goals out of habit. Focus is reclaimed in stillness. When noise stops, you finally hear yourself. When distraction fades, you finally see your direction. When the world no longer has access to your mind, you begin to choose who you are becoming. You reclaim your focus by returning to the moment, returning to the breath, returning to the task, returning to the reason why you began. Your life will change the day you commit to this rule, one thing at a time. 1 hour, one task, one priority, one standard. Because the truth is, the reason most people never become who they could be is not because they did the wrong things. It is because they never stayed long enough. Repetition creates identity. Continuity creates results. Focus creates transformation. Imagine your life if you protected just 1 hour a day, one sacred hour of pure focus, undistracted, uninterrupted, unavailable to the world. Many people believe change requires a lifetime. It doesn't. Change requires one focused hour repeated. Most of your suffering comes from divided energy, wanting but hesitating, dreaming but not acting, beginning but never committing. Focus is alignment. Focus is deciding that all of you will move in one direction, not part of you here, part of you there, broken into fragments. The moment your mind unifies into a single direction, something activates inside you. You feel power. You feel clarity. You stop doubting. You stop negotiating. You stop comparing. Because there is no space left for anything except the mission. Reclaiming focus is reclaiming your future. And it is also reclaiming your peace. When you stop letting distractions own you, life becomes quieter. Your nervous system softens. Your chest feels lighter. Your mind becomes clear. You realize that most of the chaos you experienced was not the world, it was your attention trapped in places it did not belong. One day, when you have reclaimed enough focus, you will notice a shift. The world will still be loud, but it will no longer move you. People will still talk, but they will no longer influence you. Noise will still exist, but you will move through it untouched. Because focus is not just something you do, it is someone you become. You become a person whose attention is intentional. You become a person whose energy is sacred. You become a person who chooses instead of reacting. You become a person the world can no longer distract because you have already chosen where you are going. When you reclaim your focus, you reclaim your life. You have spent years racing against people who never mattered. You have compared your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. You have measured your value through the lens of strangers, timelines, expectations, and noise. But eventually, life brings you to a truth so quiet, so simple, and so powerful. Your only real competition is the person you were yesterday. There is a version of you that is loud, insecure, reactive, driven by fear, shaped by the world. And there is also a version of you that is silent, grounded, intentional, unstoppable. These two versions exist inside you at the same time. One is who you were. One is who you are becoming. And every day, you choose which one wins. Comparison is a thief. It steals joy, kills focus, and blinds you from your own path. When you look too long at others, you forget to look at yourself. You forget that your life is built by your hands, not theirs. Your path is yours alone, unique, non-linear, sacred. You are not late. You are not behind. You are simply early on your own timeline. The world conditions you to believe that life is a race, that there is a destination you must reach before others, a milestone you must achieve, a standard you must match. But the moment you step out of this illusion, you feel something shift. You breathe. You slow down. You realize there is no finish line, only evolution. You are not here to win against others. You are here to win against your former self. Every day, silently, without witnesses, you are faced with a private battle, a battle no one sees, a battle between comfort and calling, between habit and growth, between the identity you have known and the identity you must become. Your shadow self is the part of you that keeps you small. It whispers excuses. It delays actions. It clings to who you were because it fears change. It loves safety. It loves predictability. It loves the familiar even if the familiar hurts. Your highest self is different. It does not shout. It does not beg. It does not try to convince. It simply waits patiently for you to choose it. Growth is choosing not once, but daily. Choosing discipline when motivation fails. Choosing direction when confusion rises. Choosing silence instead of proving. Choosing long-term identity over short-term comfort. Your only real opponent is the resistance inside you, the part that wants to remain the same. The part that says, tomorrow. The part that negotiates every decision. That is the enemy. And that is who you must defeat. The world will try to distract you, but distraction only works when the enemy already lives within. When your attention belongs to others, your life does too. When your identity is shaped by comparison, your path becomes blurry. When you wait for permission, you give away your power. You win when you reclaim yourself. Focus on the unseen victories, the ones no one claps for. Waking up early when no one notices. Choosing discipline when no one is watching. Writing the plan when no one will read it. Saying no when saying yes would be easier. This is competition. This is where you become someone different. Your transformation will not happen in a single day. It will happen in microscopic choices, silent ones. No applause. No recognition. Only a quiet knowing that you are moving closer to the life you were meant to live. Imagine this every night before sleep. You meet the version of yourself you could have been had you not given up, had you not delayed, had you not abandoned yourself. That version is waiting. It watches you. It knows your potential, and it wants you to rise. Competition becomes powerful when it becomes internal. When instead of asking, "How far are they?" you begin asking, "How far have I come?" When instead of asking, "What are they doing?" you begin asking, "Who am I becoming?" Self-comparison turns into self-respect. Pressure turns into peace. Progress turns into identity. Because the truth is this: you do not become unstoppable when the world believes in you. You become unstoppable when you no longer need them to. You are enough not because you feel like it, but because you choose to be. Be better than yesterday by one decision, one habit, one thought, one refusal to repeat the same mistake. Progress is not measured in leaps, but inches. The person who improves by 1% each day becomes unrecognizable within a year. When the voice inside you says, "Slow down, stop, settle," ask yourself, is this my shadow speaking, or my highest self? And then choose consciously, choose quietly, choose powerfully. You are your own competition. You are your standard. You are your measurement. You are your responsibility. One day, not far from now, you will look in the mirror and no longer see who you were. You will see who you built. You will see the proof. And you will know it was always you against you. And you won. Your life is powered by energy, not time. Not talent. Not luck. Energy is the fuel behind every decision, every habit, every achievement. You can have hours available, but if you have no energy, nothing gets built. You can have dreams, but if you have no energy, nothing becomes real. That is why some people work all day and end the night exhausted with nothing to show because time was spent. But energy was drained. Energy is your most valuable currency. And yet most people give it away freely. They give it to arguments they never needed to enter. They give it to people who never earned access. They give it to thoughts that destroy them. They give it to situations that don't matter. They spend their energy the way the broke spend money, impulsively, emotionally, unconsciously. If you ever want to rise, evolve, or transform, you must become wealthy in energy. You must learn to protect it like gold. Your energy is your boundary. Your energy is your identity. Your energy decides whether you build or simply survive. Think of yourself like a battery. Every day begins with a limited charge. Every conversation, decision, distraction, or emotion consumes a percentage. But most people never ask the most important question: what is draining me? Energy drains in silence. Energy drains through overthinking, unfinished tasks, resentment, noise, guilt, trying to please everyone, scrolling without awareness, staying connected to people out of habit instead of alignment. There is a cost to being available, a cost most never calculate. To protect your energy, you must understand energy economics, the exchange between where you give and what you receive. Everything either gives energy or takes it. People, environments, habits, conversations, even memories. Sit with a simple truth. You cannot create a powerful life in a low-energy state. When your energy is low, you tolerate what you should end. You stay where you should leave. You hold what you should release. You shrink where you should rise. But when your energy is high, everything changes. Discipline becomes easier. Clarity becomes natural. Fear becomes small. Your mind sharpens. Your vision becomes magnetic. You move differently because you feel different. Protecting your energy begins with permission. The permission to step back, to disconnect, to say no, to rest without guilt. Most exhaustion is not physical. It is emotional. It is the fatigue of constantly being everywhere except in yourself. You protect your energy when you stop over-explaining. You protect your energy when you stop proving. You protect your energy when you stop responding to everything immediately. You protect your energy when you stop allowing access to those who drain you. Energy wealth is built through boundaries, invisible lines that say, "This is mine." My time is not free. My mind is not public property. My heart is not open for anyone to walk through. Boundaries are not walls. Boundaries are doors, doors you control. Doors you choose to open or close. Not everyone gets access. Protecting your energy also means stopping the leaks inside. Internal leaks like self-doubt, guilt, shame, regret are more expensive than external distractions. Your past can drain energy just by being remembered. Your fear can drain energy just by imagining what could go wrong. Your perfectionism can drain energy by convincing you nothing is enough. To protect your energy, you must forgive not for them, but for yourself. Forgiveness is not a gift to others. It is a key that unlocks your energy from the past. Letting go is not weakness. Letting go is freedom. It is choosing to no longer pay emotional rent for something that already happened. Protecting your energy also means simplifying. The more clutter in your life, mental, emotional, physical, the more energy is consumed. Every unfinished task is a silent tax. Every unmade decision is a hidden drain. Every maybe steals more energy than a yes or no ever will. Simplicity is power because simplicity protects energy. Your digital life matters too. Your phone is a doorway, and every notification is an invitation for your energy to leave. Your social feed is a battlefield. Every comparison is a mental debt. Your attention is what the world is trying to buy because whoever owns your attention owns your life. Protecting your energy is choosing where your attention rests. Start noticing what makes you feel lighter and what makes you heavier. Energy speaks before your mind understands. Pay attention to how you feel when someone enters the room. Pay attention to how your body reacts when you think of a task. Pay attention to the weight inside your chest when you say yes while your soul says no. Listen to your energy, it knows before you do. Protecting your energy may require solitude, silence, distance, being misunderstood. People will say you changed, and they will be right. because you were not born to spend your life exhausted for the sake of being liked. Protecting your energy may require losing people. Some relationships depend on you being tired, available, and small. Once you protect your energy, those relationships fall apart. Let them. Do not shrink to keep people you don't need. Do not exhaust yourself to maintain versions of you the world prefers. Do not apologize for choosing your life. Protecting your energy is protecting your future, because your future is built through the energy you have today. You must become the guardian of your inner world. You must become the gatekeeper of your attention. You must become the protector of your state, because your state becomes your fate. One day, not far from now, you will wake up energized. You will feel clarity instead of confusion. You will feel strength instead of fear. You will feel purpose instead of pressure. And you will realize you did not get there by accident. You got there because you stopped letting the world spend your energy. Energy is gold, the rarest kind. Protect it. Spend it wisely. Invest it into the life you are building. Silence is not just a shield, it is a construction site. It is where you lay bricks the world will one day walk upon. It is where you shape the version of yourself they will meet later. Transformation is not loud. Growth is not a public performance. It is a private contract between you and the person you are becoming. When you choose to build in silence, you choose to focus. Noise demands performance. Silence demands creation. Most dreams die in the public eye under the weight of opinions, pressure, and premature exposure. The moment you announce a goal, you invite judgment. The moment you start explaining, you start negotiating. The moment you seek validation, you weaken the muscle of self-trust. Silence protects your vision before it is strong enough to walk. A seed does not grow in daylight, it grows underground. Roots form where no one can see. Identity shifts where no one can applaud. Habits are built when no one is watching. Most people want results without the roots. They want applause before effort, and admiration before discipline. That is why they never change. To build in silence means learning to live without witnesses. It means waking up before the world, training while others sleep, learning when no one asks, and showing up when no one notices. It means being okay with not being seen because you are too focused on becoming. Growth is sacred, and silence protects what is sacred. Inside silence, you become a different kind of person, someone who no longer needs proof to continue, someone who no longer requires external fuel to move. Your discipline becomes internal. Your confidence becomes quiet. Your belief becomes unshakable. When you build in silence, you stop explaining your moves. You stop telling the world what you plan to do. You do it. You stop waiting for permission. You take action. Because explanation wastes energy, and energy builds empires. You must learn this truth. People will judge what they can see. They cannot judge what is hidden. Protecting your process is protecting your peace. There will be moments when the silence feels lonely. Moments when the old version of you screams for comfort. Moments when you wonder whether anyone will ever notice. But hear this, silence is not isolation. Silence is incubation. Your dreams are still alive. They are simply growing where no eyes can reach. Silence is also where you learn to sit with yourself, the raw, unfiltered you. It is where you confront your weaknesses without shame. where you face your insecurities without distraction, where you admit what you truly want without minimizing it for others' comfort. Most people never meet their potential because they never spend enough time alone. They fear the truth of who they are. They fear seeing what still must change. But you are here because you are willing to do the work most won't. As you build in silence, you begin to separate. You separate from noise, from timelines, from comparison, from expectations, from who you once were. This separation is not loss, it is evolution. You are not leaving people behind, you are leaving versions of yourself behind. And here is the paradox: the quieter you become, the louder your life becomes later. Results are a language the world cannot ignore. When your life changes, they will notice. When your energy shifts, they will feel it. When you walk into a room with a different level of presence, they will sense it. You will not need to speak, your life will speak for you. One day, long after you have stopped explaining, someone will ask, "How did you do it?" And you will smile. Because the story is not in the words, the story is in who you are now. Silence also teaches emotional detachment. When you do not broadcast your journey, you stop tying your identity to outcomes. You stop needing to succeed quickly. You stop needing approval to feel worthy. You begin to build slowly, intentionally, with patience. Because you finally understand things that grow fast often break fast. Things that grow slowly last. Let your life be slow. Let your becoming be gradual. Let your transformation take time. All great things do. Building in silence is choosing mastery over validation. It is choosing depth over display. It is choosing legacy over attention. It is choosing to become someone who cannot be ignored without ever asking to be seen. There will come a moment, a small, quiet moment where your results begin to appear. Maybe it's clarity in your eyes. Maybe it's the money in your bank. Maybe it's the calm in your nervous system. Maybe it's the firm boundaries you finally learned to hold. Maybe it's the version of you who now looks in the mirror and recognizes strength. That moment is not an accident. It is a receipt of every silent day, every quiet hour, every private choice, every night you did not betray yourself. And when the world eventually turns its head, when people begin to notice, when results speak for you, you will not need applause, because you will already know you became it long before they saw it. So keep building, quietly, relentlessly, patiently. Let silence be your hammer. Let discipline be your blueprint. Let time be the architect, and let your results speak your name. If silence is the shield, then discipline is the engine. Transformation does not happen because you want it. It happens because you show up, not loudly, not perfectly, but repeatedly. Discipline is the most underrated power in the modern world because it is not glamorous. It is not dramatic. It does not post photos. It does not ask for applause. It simply works quietly until your entire life changes. Discipline is not motivation. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the oxygen. Motivation makes you start. Discipline makes you finish. Motivation is emotion. Discipline is identity. When you rely on motivation, you need to feel good to act. When you rely on discipline, you act whether you feel good or not. That is why disciplined people win. They do not negotiate with their feelings, they negotiate with their standards. The 1% rule, microscopic wins that change your DNA transformation, rarely arrives in big moments. It arrives in 1% improvements in visible increments that compound quietly. Reading 10 minutes. Doing 20 push-ups. Writing 1 paragraph. Choosing water over sugar. Sleeping early instead of scrolling. These choices are small, but their effect is not. Most people fail because they wait for perfect timing, perfect energy, perfect plans. But you don't need perfect. You only need consistent. Your future self is being built every single day in small acts no one witnesses. That is the miracle of discipline. You change simply by repeating until repetition becomes identity. Habits, the skeleton of your life. Look at your day. Where you wake up, what you do first, who you respond to, whether you train, learn, or drift. These patterns build your identity. Your routines are not just tasks, they are silent philosophies. Brushing your teeth isn't hygiene, it is self-respect. Reading isn't information, it is expansion. Working isn't output, it is alignment. Training isn't exercise, it is self-trust. Every habit you keep is a message you send to yourself, I am worth showing up for. And every habit you abandon whispers back, I don't believe in me. Atomic discipline, your life. Broken into atoms. Think of your day as atoms. Tiny decisions adding up. Your goal is not to control life, but to control the next 5 minutes. The world overwhelms you when you think in years. It becomes manageable when you think in minutes. Discipline is choosing the next aligned action, not the entire journey. Drink the water. Open the book. Stand up and stretch. Begin the task even for 2 minutes. Once action begins, momentum takes over. Action creates clarity. Clarity creates direction. Direction creates transformation. Routines. Your Zen temple. Discipline is not force. Discipline is Zen. It is the stillness of doing the same thing calmly every day without noise. The master does not train to feel powerful. The master trains until power is quiet. Your routine is a temple where you meet yourself, where you choose who wins your emotions or your mission. Wake before the noise. Work before the world sees you. Learn before opinions enter your mind. Your morning is your throne. Protect it. Discipline builds self-trust. Many people lack confidence not because they lack ability, but because they break promises to themselves. Confidence is not a personality trait. It is a relationship. When you say you will do something and you do it, you build trust. When you say you will do something and you don't, you fracture trust. Discipline repairs that relationship. Every completed task is a deposit of self-respect. Your greatest wealth is the belief I can rely on myself. Identity, the real transformation. True discipline is not forcing yourself. It is becoming the kind of person who simply does. When a runner identifies as a runner, training is not a battle, it is natural. When a reader identifies as a reader, reading is effortless. When you identify as someone who keeps promises, discipline becomes your nature. Stop asking, how do I stay disciplined? Start asking, who would I become if discipline was automatic? The answer to that question is the person waiting for you. 2026. Discipline versus distraction. The modern enemy of transformation is not laziness, it is distraction. Every notification is a hook. Every opinion is a detour. Every scroll is a leak. Without discipline, your attention is owned by the world. With discipline, your attention is a weapon. Pick one thing today that takes you closer to your future. One skill, one task, one commitment, and then protect it viciously, as if your life depends on it, because it does. The beautiful boredom of greatness. There will be days when discipline feels boring, when repetition feels dull, when progress is invisible. That is where most people quit, right before the magic compounds. Greatness is not exciting, it is quiet. Repetitive, unglamorous endurance. The gym alone. The desk alone. The journal alone. The grind alone. And then suddenly, after months of silence, you wake up and realize you are no longer the same person. Disciplined, clear, unshakable. That is transformation, not loud, but inevitable. Let this be your contract. Say this to yourself, not out loud, but internally. Where identity is written, I show up even when I don't feel like it. I honor my future. I build slowly. I move quietly. I transform daily. I trust myself. And discipline is who I am. Not every seed is meant to be shown while it is still in the soil. Some transformations demand darkness. Some growth requires privacy. Some versions of you can only be born when no one is watching. One of the greatest mistakes people make is announcing their change before it has roots. Sharing plans, dreams, goals, routines, exposing them to noise, opinions, doubts, and projections before they are strong enough to survive. Silence is not hiding. Silence is incubation. It is where your new identity grows unseen, untouched, and protected. When you begin building a new life, you do not need witnesses. You need space. You do not need applause. You need air. You do not need validation. You need time. The power of the unseen life. Greatness is rarely born in front of an audience. It is born in private discipline, quiet routines, and unshared victories. A violinist becomes a virtuoso long before the first concert. A founder becomes a leader long before the first investor. A champion becomes unstoppable long before the first medal. Transformation is quiet. Recognition is loud. One comes first, the other comes later. Your life becomes lighter, purer, more focused when you stop performing and start becoming. Why you must protect your becoming. There are 3 forces that destroy early transformation if you expose it too soon. Opinion, people will misunderstand you. Energy, others will drain you. Ego, you will want to look successful instead of becoming successful. When you talk too much about who you want to be, your brain mistakes talking for doing. You feel a false sense of progress, and progress dies. When you post every move online, you dilute focus. Your attention shifts from results to reaction, from becoming to being seen. You were not born to be watched. You were born to build. Quiet growth is sacred. Picture a seed in the ground. If you dig it up every day to check progress, the seed will never grow. If you protect it, water, nourish, shield, it breaks the soil with strength. Your goals, habits, identity, they are seeds. They do not need exposure. They need protection. Silence is the greenhouse that gives you strength before the world ever sees you. Learn in silence. Train in silence. Build in silence. Heal in silence. Discipline in silence. Because silence is where weakness becomes strength, and strength becomes identity. The art of not sharing, in a world addicted to oversharing, choosing secrecy, is power. You don't need to announce your plans, explain your routines, justify your decisions, defend your priorities, convince anyone you owe no one a broadcast. The world is not entitled to your process. They are only invited to see your results. Let them wonder. Let them guess. Let them ask, how did they do it? Your silence will answer for you. The freedom of private progress. When no one knows what you are doing, no one can judge, interfere, or influence your path. You are free to restart without shame, fail without audience, pivot without pressure, change direction without explanation. Freedom is not just physical, it is psychological. You cannot grow when you feel watched. You cannot experiment when you feel judged. Creativity suffocates under expectation. Identity collapses under comparison. Your privacy is not a wall, it is oxygen. Silent becoming. There will be nights when you are alone with your goals and the world is asleep. There will be mornings when you rise before dawn and no one claps. Those moments are sacred. Every quiet morning, every silent decision, every unnoticed sacrifice is a brick in your future. Silent becoming is choosing this mantra. I would rather build quietly for years than collapse loudly in weeks. Let results speak. You will know it is time to speak when your actions have written a story that cannot be denied. Results are a language. Proof is a voice. Mastery is a megaphone. And when you walk into 2026 with receipts, with skill, with discipline, with wealth, with inner power, you will not need to announce anything. Your presence will announce you. Your silence will have matured into aura. And aura does not need introduction. When silence becomes identity, the moment you stop needing to be seen, you start becoming unstoppable. Because the world loses its power over you. Opinions become background noise. Comparison becomes irrelevant. Validation becomes unnecessary. When silence becomes your nature, you no longer chase. You attract. People will ask, where have you been? Why did you disappear? How did you change? And you will smile because you know the answer. While the world watched itself, you were watching your destiny. There is a mirror that never lies. It is not made of glass. It is made of honesty. You meet this mirror every night when the world becomes quiet, when notifications disappear, when your identity has no audience, and it is just you and you. Reflection is the moment you face the truth, not about what you say you are, but who you are actually becoming. Silence creates space. Reflection reveals truth. Most people avoid silence because silence forces them to meet themselves. Noise protects identity. It gives you distraction, escape, and excuses. Silence removes that shield, and suddenly you can hear your own thoughts, your fears, your desires, your patterns, your lies, your potential. Reflection is the practice of looking at your inner world as if you are watching the sky with distance, with curiosity, without judgment. Thoughts pass like clouds. Emotions rise like storms. Memories echo like thunder. But you remain the observer. The journal, your private battlefield. A journal is not paper. It is a battlefield, a confession booth, a map, a time machine, a mirror. When you write, You remove the mask. You drop the performance. You speak with a voice that never needs validation. Your journal will tell you what you avoid, what you fear, what you crave, where you self-sabotage, where you are strong, where you lie to yourself. Most people never succeed because they never stop long enough to understand themselves. Writing is how you measure your life instead of losing it. Reflection equals data. Your life is made of patterns. Your habits repeat. Your beliefs repeat. Your failures repeat. Your excuses repeat. Your wins repeat. Reflection is how you see the pattern and decide what will repeat next year and what will not. If you don't reflect, life continues by default. If you do reflect, life continues by design. Observing without judgment, growth dies when you judge yourself. Growth begins when you observe yourself. Do not say, "I failed. I am weak." Say instead, "I failed." Why do not say, "I lost discipline"? Say, "What was the trigger?" Do not say, "I slipped." Say, "How will I return?" Reflection is not punishment. It is strategy. Night meets morning reflection has a rhythm. The night reviews the day, and the morning prepares the next one. Night asks, "What did I do today?" Morning asks, "What will I do today?" If you practice both, you will live a controlled life instead of a reactive one. 1 minute of reflection can save 6 months of wrong direction. Reflection builds identity. You are not who you want to be. You are not who you say you are. You are what you do repeatedly. Reflection reminds you whether your daily actions match your future identity or betray it. Write these questions often. Did my actions today honor the person I want to be? If I continue like this, who will I become? Am I building a lifestyle or performing one? Identity is not changed through goals. It is changed through awareness of every choice. Silence plus reflection equals self-mastery. Silence removes noise. Reflection reveals truth. Together, they give you control. Without silence, you cannot hear your truth. Without reflection, you cannot respond to your truth. People fear these tools because they fear the person they might meet. But the version of you that terrifies you is usually the version that can save you. The brutal honesty test. Sit with yourself and ask, what am I doing that destroys my future? Who do I allow to drain my energy? Where am I pretending instead of practicing? What am I afraid to admit? What do I know I must do, but I keep avoiding? If the questions make you uncomfortable, good. Growth lives there. Reflection without sharing. Your reflection is not meant for the world. People cannot understand what they did not live. Your journal is a sacred space. You owe no one access to it. When you reflect privately, you build power without pressure, without the weight of judgment, without the distortion of expectation. Let your transformation be a secret until it becomes a fact. Reflection makes you untouchable. A person who reflects never gets lost for long, because while others drift, you redirect. While others repeat mistakes, you extract lessons. While others regret, you rebuild. Reflection is how you break cycles before they become your fate. Your life is a mirror. If your life is chaotic, your mind is chaotic. If your relationships drain you, your boundaries are weak. If your goals stay dreams, your discipline is missing. Everything external is a projection of something internal. Reflection lets you see it so you can change it instead of blaming everything around you. The final shift, becoming the observer. When reflection becomes a habit, you stop reacting and start choosing. You no longer drown in emotions, you watch them rise and fall. You no longer collapse under failure, you study it. You no longer fear silence, you crave it because silence is where you become real. A journal entry for you tonight. Write just one sentence. If I repeat today for 365 days, who will I become? If the answer scares you, good. You just found your doorway to a new life. There will come a year when your life changes so sharply that who you were before becomes unrecognizable. 2026 is that year. Not because the calendar changed, but because you changed. Not because the world gave you something, but because you stopped giving your power away. This is the year you stop explaining, stop announcing, stop proving, stop performing, stop waiting. It is the year you build, the year you become, the year you rise without noise, without applause, without permission. The identity shift. Becoming untouchable is not about being cold or silent or distant. It is about becoming anchored, so deeply connected to your purpose that no opinion can sway you, no gossip can shake you, no rejection can define you, and no distraction can steal you. An untouchable person is not someone no one can hurt. It is someone who no longer hands their hurt to others in advance. Who you choose to become this year will determine every outcome for years beyond it. Your circle shrinks, and that's a good sign. Elevation always requires isolation. When you begin to rise, you will not pull everyone with you. Some will misunderstand, some will judge, some will distance, some will resent, some will disappear. Let them. Your silence will filter the room, your standards will cleanse your environment. Only those meant for your next chapter will survive your boundaries. Your word becomes law. In 2026, your promises are no longer hopes. They are contracts. When you say, I will show up, you show up. When you say, I will finish, you finish. When you say, I will protect my energy, you do, even if it means walking away, changing your routine, or losing people who benefit from your access. This is the year where one day dies, and today becomes the only unit of time that matters. Routines become armor. You will not win this year because you are motivated. You will win because you have systems. Systems beat mood. Systems beat excuses. Systems beat identity sabotage. The person you want to become is waiting inside your routines, not inside your dreams. Wake time, work blocks, reading, reflection, movement boundaries, solitude, screens off, sleep early. These are not tasks, they are tools, they are weapons. They are proof that you are someone who is serious about what you want. Energy is the new currency. In 2026, you will finally understand that money follows energy, not the other way around. That opportunities flow to those who are open, grounded, and disciplined. That your aura, your presence, your inner state are more valuable than your resume. Untouchable people are not loud, they are felt. When you enter a room this year, you will not need to speak to be noticed. You will be noticed because you are aligned, certain, self-made, self-owned. You no longer chase. The turning point of becoming untouchable is this. You stop chasing. Chasing validation, chasing answers, chasing timelines, chasing people, chasing approval, chasing shortcuts. You replace chasing with choosing. Choosing where your attention goes. Choosing who gets access to you. Choosing what you give energy to. Choosing where your future is built. When you stop chasing, you start attracting. Silence, euchal, leverage. While others broadcast their goals, you become the person who simply shows up. While others overshare, you become the mystery. While others seek applause, you build results. While others try to be seen, you become undeniable. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is strategy. Silence is leverage. Silence is where miracles are made before the world is allowed to see them. The year of no return. There are years you grow, and there are years you transform. Transformation is violent, not externally but internally. You will feel the death of old habits, old beliefs, old fears, old versions of you who kept you small. And you will grieve, but you will not go back. Because once you meet the future version of yourself, you can never pretend you don't know who you could be. 2026 is the year you cross that line. The oath read, slowly whisper it. Write it. Remember it. I choose my silence. I choose my focus. I choose my boundaries. I choose my routine. I choose my future. I will not explain myself. I will not shrink myself. I will not perform for approval. I will not let distraction win. I will build. Quietly, daily, relentlessly. Because I am no longer available for the person I used to be. One final image. Imagine yourself December 31st. 2026. Alone in a quiet room. Reflecting. Breathing. Smiling because you know this year was not about luck or chance or motivation. It was about decision. Discipline. Identity. Silence. Rebirth. And you whisper to yourself, I kept my promise. That is what makes you untouchable. Before you leave this video, pause. Take a breath. Feel the weight of this moment, because this is the line in your life where things quietly begin to change. You have spent years giving attention to everything outside of you: opinions, noise, expectations, comparison. And yet the real transformation, the one that actually rewrites your life, has always started in silence, when no one is watching. From this night onward, make a promise only you will ever hear: I choose myself. Not loudly, not publicly, but inwardly, where identity is shaped. You don't need applause. You don't need validation. You don't need anyone to see your rise. Because when you build in silence, you don't have to convince anyone your results will speak when the time is right. So, before this video ends, ask yourself one question. Did I live today as the person I want to become, or the person I'm trying to leave behind? If the answer is not yet, then tomorrow is your restart, your redemption, your quiet revolution. Take this message with you. Carry it into your morning. Let it shape your decisions. Let it sharpen your focus. And let it remind you, you don't need permission. You only need commitment. If you're ready to begin that commitment today, whisper it into the comments. Not for me, but for yourself. I choose silence. I choose focus. And when your life changes in ways no one expects, let them wonder how you did it. Let your growth be the mystery. Let your success be the noise.